Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Talk of Louisville. I'm Mike Mulroney.
I'm Kellye Duckworth.
Kellye, I'd like you to introduce you to our new friends from First Hour Grief Response, Michelle over here and Lindsay right next to me. How are you all doing today?
We're great, and we're so excited to be here with you.
Well, we had met Lisa. Was she in here? What's her role?
She is a co-founder and the executive director.
Okay, so she was in here last year sometime, and we got some great information on you all, and it's amazing what you all do. So many people are struggling these days with different things, and they really have no outlet. And that's obviously probably where you all fall in. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Just sitting around this table, all of us have been impacted by grief some way or another.
That's how we got here.
That's why we got here. Yeah. We're using our pain for purpose. And so we really meet people where they're at within that sudden loss,
In some horrible circumstances in most cases.
Unfortunately,
Is Pain for a Purpose a t-shirt yet? We need to put that on a t-shirt.
Go and text Lisa.
Or also, we get it. I love that line too. So at First Hour, our whole mission is to bring compassionate guidance to those who have experienced this loss, which would be probably one of their most difficult days of their life.
Yeah.
And our vision is to allow our skills and our life journeys, because we're on the other side of that first moment of our story, to bring coping skills to help them navigate the days ahead. And
it takes some special people for that. I know we're here to talk about the 5K y'all have coming up, but let's kind of talk a little bit about why you got involved. I mean, did you all, and if you're not comfortable talking about, just slap me and say, I don't want to say that, but why did you get involved with First Hour Grief?
Absolutely. So my son, Bryant, was born on January 14th of 2019, and he passed on January 15th of 2019. So he lived for 36 hours. He had severe scoliosis, and there was complications from that. So he had a lot of ribs that were missing or fused together. There just wasn't enough lung tissue to support life.
Did they know that he wasn't developing correctly before he was born?
So at our 20-week anatomy scan, we learned something was wrong. At that point, they thought it was congenital diaphragmatic hernia, or CDH for short. It's where there's a hole in the diaphragm. But through extensive testing and MRIs, they were like, oh no, it's scoliosis. And I was so ignorant at the time, and I was like, I know exactly what scoliosis is, right? I was a kid, and
tested, bend over,
right,
all your thing. Yeah,
the spine. Oh, you're good,
right?
So I was like,
it's just something you got to live with.
We're fine.
But they were wrong. So
there was talk about his lungs, but not to the extent that it was going to be fatal. And so, when we breathe in oxygen, and when we breathe out carbon. Thank you. She's a nurse. And so he couldn't expel those gases. And so they're just sitting on his chest, and seeing your 36-hour be hooked up to extreme painkillers like fentanyl. So we made the decision to take him off of life support. And in that moment, I felt so alone in my grief. I felt so isolated. I felt misunderstood. And so it wasn't until I had found First Hour and found my group of people that I was like, oh, people get me. They understand me. I can say the off-the-wall things that grief shows you, and people get me. I came to First Hour as a volunteer. In 2014, I was asked to facilitate the pregnancy and infant loss support group. And then that was our first year of the Angel Walk.
What year did you say he passed?
In 2019.
In 2024.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how you walk in here with a smile on your face is what I'm getting at. I mean, how long did it take you to stand upright? I mean, I'm just curious, and I don't want to bring back bad things, but
so throughout our time together today, one thing I hope you know is that I want you to say his name. I mean, I brought a picture of him.
Yeah.
He is adorable.
Oh my gosh.
We could talk about his chunky cheeks. We can talk about his head full of hair. just like if you have children, you want to talk about your babies, and I want to talk about mine. It took me a while. It took me a while to be able to say his name without crying.
I bet.
Therapy, Lexapro.
Yeah.
And the support of others really helped.
Yeah.
But one thing that you and I had kind of touched on before we went live is I'm using my pain for purpose. I am learning how to create his legacy because he's not here to do it himself. By doing this stuff, I'm parenting him. I am being his mommy, and that's the greatest gift.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't even imagine.
I can't either. I have a baby at home, and that's ugh. Two babies, but I have a baby. I mean, he looks perfectly fine.
Well, we were talking about before we started that people they use grief one of two ways. They go down the drug alcohol path and abuse themselves and just destroy everything in their path, or they use it for a positive like you've decided to do. Some friends of ours, they lost two of their kids at the same time. The Kirchgessners. I don't know if you've heard them. Their kids were killed in Florida. They were playing putt-putt.
Oh, yes.
And a truck ran up and ran over both of them and killed them. They had to leave Florida without. And she walks in here. She's the happiest go lucky person, and they had already planned.
She had decided that night that they were going to start a foundation. I don't know how she did. That's my point. How she had the strength to do that.
I don't feel like I'm strong.
Oh, you have no idea.
I mean, I just.
That's a humbling comment. Yeah.
I don't.
I see your strength come out in what you do at First Hour.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And all of our mentors.
So are you a counselor, I guess, at the First Hour? Or do you have to, nurse, or are you just doing anything you can to help people in their worst hour?
So I am a mentor.
Okay.
Our services are really peer-to-peer. So we're not licensed
I can share more about that.
Yes, please.
So how we work, we have really three main pillars.
Well, before, I want to know why you got involved. You said you're a nurse. So are you still a nurse, or are you doing First Hour grief? Yeah, sorry, you're not getting out of that hot seat.
My name's Michelle, and yes, I'm a nurse. I've worked at Jewish downtown for 24 years this year.
Okay.
And cardiology. And how I got to First Hour was in 2019, I lost one of my best friends to suicide. And it rocked my world. I was newly had a daughter, and I was already struggling to adjust to that life. It's like your whole identity changes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing counseling for that. And then I lost her, which was a battle for about a year and a half.
So you've seen signs that she was, you had to worry and make calls if you didn't hear from her.
Yes. Took her to the brook. Like, it was very involved, and did outpatient care there. And no one would have known that she was struggling.
Most people you wouldn't.
You wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
But as her best friend, I did. And her family did as well. And so when I got that I got a message through Messenger of a mutual friend of hers and her family that said, like, you need to call me. And I'm like, that's odd. And I called her, and I heard the news. And so that was in 19. And through my nursing career, a friend of mine had said, "Hey, how are you doing, Michelle?" And I was like, well, to be quite honest, shitty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she's like, "You don't talk that way. Like, and you're always in a good mood. Why all of a sudden this?" And I said, "I lost my best friend to suicide this weekend, and I don't even know what to do about it." And she said, "Well, I was just last night at a dinner function at a friend's house. There were two women there, one being Lisa Shardine, and Karen Buchanan was the other, sharing about their nonprofit. They just were founded in 2018, and they walk alongside people who have sudden loss. And Karen's husband died of suicide, and you need to reach out to them." So I got on the website, First Hour Grief, and filled out the online form, heard from Karen, and she mentored me through my grief from my friend. And after that, I got involved with that side of First Hour, the suicide piece. Karen and a psychologist and the team created a 7-week program called Strides to Healing. And it's a journey of healing from suicide loss that we offer. And they asked if I would come and share my story for that videotaping. And so I did. And then I lost my mom tragically to a traumatic brain injury. And it's almost been 3 years. And I lost her. It was sudden, police show up at my door, 4 a.m. and say she's at U of L. And as a nurse, I know that's not good. Police at my door, U of L. And make it down to U of L. They had done surgery, but we lost her 10 days later. And I joined the spouse group, the parent loss group. And that group got me. Like Lindsay talks about, that group, being in my late 30s and losing my mom suddenly and totally unexpected. It's like, not that my friends met, but they just didn't know. Mm-hmm. None of them had lost their parent yet, especially in a traumatic way where you're coming home from the hospital, you're in the shower and you're in a fetal position, right? Because it's so devastating. You know what's coming. And so after the group, Karen was ready to hand some things over. And so she asked, would you lead the Strides group? And so I took over the Strides group. It's volunteering, and then started mentoring suicide loss grievers, and now also seeing parent loss grievers when a client comes in.
There's a walk called Into the Darkness.
Yes,
Is that, do you all do that one?
We do.
Y'all do that one as well?
Yes,
I've done that walk.
We get a team together and walk. Yeah, we did this year as well.
But First Hour Grief, is that a walk that you all put on?
Yes.
Okay.
But not Out of the Darkness. Out of the Darkness is put on by like NAMI and other organizations in this city.
I've known of it, but I don't know who puts it on. I'd love to talk to them one day and see.
I think it's the National Alliance of Mental Health.
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
So how does it work with First Hour Grief? Obviously, someone is struggling, and I would say most people don't want to admit that they're struggling. So does a friend usually call on somebody's behalf and say, I got someone that's really struggling? How does that work?
Sure. It can be multiple avenues. So in my own personal life, because I've been at First Hour for so long, you'll get personal text messages from people that say, hey, I have a friend that just lost someone to suicide. What do I do? Or vice versa, infant loss or whatever the loss is, we know that they need your service. So what I always tell them, and the most recent one at the end of last year was, don't be afraid to share what we do. You won't offend someone. If you offend them, then that's on them. But I guarantee they will always be so grateful to know that something exists when and if they want to use it. Right. And so in this case, the most recent one, I gave the friend all the information. She shared it. I got a phone call the next day, and it was just a couple days within 48 hours of her loss. And it was a suicide loss. She couldn't go into the grocery. She had always walked in with him.
Oh my gosh.
And I said, where are you? I'm at the office. Can you get to me? And she came, and we sat on the couch and we talked, and she shared her story, and it's just horrifying what her last 48 hours had been. And we were able to care for her in those hours. So much so that I knew I didn't have enough time with her. So I said, can you just get in my car and go to carpool with me? I wouldn't normally do this, but I know who sent you. And if you're comfortable, because I didn't want to leave her.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was a hard place, and the things we had just opened up and shared. I didn't want her to be alone.
Yeah, I so wish I would have known about you guys, because when I lost my mom in 2018, I was 21.
Yeah,
and none of my friends. I have a huge friend group and amazing family.
Yes.
I mean, I had the biggest support group I could have, but no one had lost a parent at 21.
Right,
and I had done an internship with hospice. And I knew that they provided grief counseling. My aunt was like, because I struggled.
Yeah. Yes.
Now looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, that year was horrible.
Yeah.
And so she really talked me into it. And I was like, okay, hospice is amazing. They do great things.
Absolutely.
I've just spent the whole summer with them.
Yeah.
I went to this group therapy session at night. for parent loss, and it was like 50 older. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so not for me. And I was so uncomfortable. Never went back. But something more personal, private. Yeah, like that would have been a.
Yes.
And always got to pick on 50-year-olds.
I know. I laugh about it now, but I was just like, oh my gosh, what was I doing there?
Well, we see a big need for that in spouse loss because there are younger people experiencing spouse loss. And we've just brought that up within our team. Like we need a younger group for spouse loss because we have 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, late 20-year-ds. So, yeah.
Me?
Me.
Lean into it, yeah. So what is the biggest, what's the largest group that you all deal with? Is it suicide? Is it spouse loss? Is it child loss? Or is it all of the above? Do you have any idea?
It's so mixed because we do all kinds of loss.
So like if it's a group setting, is it everybody in this room is dealing with suicide? Everybody in this room is dealing with potentially losing a child? Yeah.
Yeah. So what we have currently, our peer-to-peer is the individual that we do. And then outside of that, we have free support groups. So we have 6 support groups that are ongoing currently. Weekly, yes. Weekly or monthly or twice a month. So they're all different.
Yeah, ours is twice a month. It's on the first and the third Wednesday of every month.
Do you lead the one with people that lose children?
So I lead pregnancy up to 3.
Yeah. Does it feel awesome to be able to really work with people in the same situation you were in? Is it a comfort thing, really? Because it's got to help you as well.
It absolutely helps me. And I would not have survived truly without this group. As much as I may help them, they help me just as much. If I'm being like extremely candid here, I remember early on in my grief, you hear stories of women walking into a hospital and taking a baby, and you're like, oh, how does that even happen? After Bryant?
You could see it.
I can get that.
Oh, yeah.
I can understand that. Yeah. But saying that out loud, people looked at me like I had lost every marble.
Well, you see every baby, you see all the babies and think they're going home. I just lost mine. They won't miss one. And you justify that in your mind. I could see.
Well, the night, so Bryant was in the NICU.
You didn't know, did you?
And we had said goodbye in the NICU. So we had laid him down in that bassinet. I had no idea that I could take him back to our room. I had no idea that after he passed, that my family could then hold him. My mom's a single parent. I'm an only child. That was her first grandbaby that she said hello and goodbye to in the same moment.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't know these things. And now, 7 years out, I know these things now. And I don't want anybody else to experience what I did. I want them to have that opportunity. I want them to make those memories when they can. And so, yes, I do feel like I am helping, but there's still so much more work that we need to do in the pregnancy and infant loss community. Yeah. I mean, 1 in 4 families will experience miscarriage.
Wow. I didn't know it was that high.
It's that high.
We lost our first child. Yeah, our oldest will be 22, but actually our first one, we've been closer to her age, and it was a miscarriage. But it was rough, especially, for my wife. I'm not carrying the child. I don't have that physical connection to it, and I don't think men can really 100% relate versus what you all do.
So I hear you in that, but to see my husband grieve, and I think that's also another misconception is that I saw so many people go up to Dave and say, well, how's Lindsay doing? Yeah. And not once ask, how are you doing?
Yeah.
And so that's another narrative I want to change. So did I hear right that you're a UK fan?
Maybe. Yeah.
So we are too. And that was something that Dave bonded with Bryant is anytime UK played and that UK fight song came on, Bryant went nuts in my stomach. I mean, flipping and flopping and rolling.
That's funny.
And Dave was like, that's my boy. That's my boy.
Yeah.
And so
I still get that way.
Yeah. And so he had a connection. He had a bond. And then Dave would talk to my stomach and say, when you were born, give us a warrior cry, and we know that you're going to be okay. And Bryant came out screaming. And Dave goes, that's my boy. That's my boy. And so I know they had that connection. They had that bond. And so that's something that I wish more people knew, is that we need to check on those dads too.
Yeah, I agree. I just, you all have the physical part of it where I've heard my wife, even you, say it's hard to explain, because I think you said once before you really enjoyed the pregnancy part of it.
I loved it. Loved being pregnant.
My wife has said that before, because it's such a bonding thing. But when Avery came out, her and I were together all the time. It's almost like she knew my voice.
Yes. Oh yes, they do.
And I really think they probably know the voices of the people that they've been around so much.
Absolutely. And I agree with you. I empathize with you. I never felt more beautiful than when I was pregnant. I mean, I was massive. Yeah. I mean, so I have a bear in my lap right now. So these are called Molly bears, and they are comfort bears that are the weight of your baby. So Bryant was 9 pounds.
You had a 9-pound baby? Props to you, girlfriend.
Gosh, Bryant, you were heavy. Get that out.
Wow.
So it was a nonprofit organization that made them. Bryant's.
Oh my goodness.
It's so heavy.
Bryant's nursery was golf themed. Yeah, Dave's a big golfer.
That is
so I am huge, like ankles swollen, feet are, I can't wear
enjoying
shoes,
every minute.
but I felt
beautiful.
Oh yeah, I loved it. Well, and it was amazing what the human body can do. What I'm literally creating life here. Yes. Loved every minute of it.
And there was something so special about birthing. And I know, a sensitive topic. We're talking about miscarriage and infant loss too. So I want to be, mindful of that. But yes, there's just something beautiful about the whole process. And I think the reason why it is so painful is because we were designed to do this as women. I mean, so it's so in us, you know what I mean? And so carrying that life and then expecting that it's going to be there.
Well, no, you're fine. Just coming from a nurse's standpoint, my best friend's, she's a midwife now. So she delivered both of my babies, but you got to experience delivery, and I hope that those nurses and your postpartum, they made it. I mean, for me, who I had in that room afterwards, caring for you and caring for Bryant, that made the whole experience even better.
So one thing that's been full circle for us, and it's so special to me, is the woman who does the photography at our walks was Bryant's NICU nurse.
Oh my gosh.
And it just cold chills.
I know, I just got to go.
And it just means so much to me to have her there. So we had Bryant's celebration of life. My father-in-law is a elevator union. Well, he retired, but he's with elevator union. And so they let us do Bryant's memory of life there. And I look up and there's his nurse. And it was just, since then, we've had a bond. Bryant was her first loss as well as a nurse.
Gosh.
And so.
Was she a newer nurse?
No.
Because I would think, and I hate to say it's probably more common than we think, but it
absolutely is more common than we think.
Yeah. Because the actual to give birth to a healthy child is tough these days. You see so many children born with issues, and for one to have a healthy, but actually 1 in 4, I think is what you said.
To get pregnant.
Yeah, that alone.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that was a misconception Dave and I had, is that you go to college, you find the love of your life, you get a job, you get married, you have babies.
Yeah.
That's the natural progression.
Yes.
Nobody tells you that sometimes it's just not easy to get pregnant.
There can be a bump in the road.
There's a bump in the road, So then Dave and I tried for 3 years and then end up with this beautiful boy, just a loser.
So he was your first?
He was our first.
Okay.
You have children now?
So we have one, and I promised I would wave to him. So we have, I don't really resonate with the term rainbow. typically rainbow babies are the babies that you have after a loss. For me, a rainbow means there was a storm and then a rainbow came after that. I don't think of Bryant as a storm. So we call Bryson our sunshine. So Bryson will be 5 in May. And through our Pain for Purpose, Bryson knows all about his big brother. He tries to play hide and seek with Bryant, but Bryant's not very cooperative. But he'll yell good night to him. Good night, Bryant. Love you. Yeah. But so at the Angel Walk, that's one thing that we really invite is siblings too. That's one thing we see is, these parents unfortunately experience a loss. They already have a living child. And then how do you talk to your living child about mommy was pregnant, but now mommy is not?
Yeah.
So we'll have information there at the walk for them as well. But we'll also have fun things for these kiddos to do. Things.
Yes.
Like what? Is it like a festival feel?
Vendor feel. So last year there was donuts and a coffee truck, but also I have a friend who has a company called Momo East Amigos. And they do they do multiple things, but they're an entertainment business. But they do children entertainment. So they will be there with like sensory bins and face painting. They're puppeteers. They're musicians. I mean, they do anything and everything.
We'd love to have them.
I know. What is it called again?
Momo E Amigos.
We'll send
so
you.
Momo is her name, and then Momo and Friends.
Yeah. Okay.
They're amazing. And
they're so good.
They're so good with children, and they'll be there, and they were a huge hit last year. Very huge hit.
And then we also had blank white onesies, and we had fabric markers so that families could take those onesies and decorate them for their angels. And we had them lined up in front of the walk. And it was such a powerful visualization of how many angels we actually had represented there.
And it was my first time that I got to, my mom had, her first was a stillborn, 40 weeks. And it was the first time. And I knew I was probably 9 or 10. And I approached my mom and said, I'm supposed to have a sister. Like I knew, but I didn't know. And so she showed me the picture of her and her. I did, and I didn't know it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I look back after last year at the Angel Walk, and I think back, I carried that picture because they had pictures of her in the casket. I carried that with me for so long, and I kept it in a special place in my room. And that was me grieving her.
Yeah.
I look back on that season and I'm like, that was me grieving her. I wanted her with me. And so last year I got to put her name was Crystal. I got to put it on one of our shirts, and my brother came and we got to walk. My mom wasn't there, so we got to walk in honor of my mom and then walk as a family in honoring her. And as I walked, I met women in their 60s that were like, I lost a child and I've never done anything like this. So they were there walking with family who was there that had recently lost, more recent. And they're like, I never did anything. This is amazing. I'm 60,
Because I guarantee back then they didn't do anything.
They didn't.
It was probably like, hush, hush. We're not going to talk about it. We're going to close off.
My mom almost committed suicide afterwards. She had a plan on the way to the physician's office post delivery to drive off the side of the cliff on the way there. Gosh. And my dad knew something was wrong. And he had told her, cell phones weren't a thing. This is over 40 years ago, said, I'm going to meet you there. And she didn't do it because he was going to meet her there.
Wow.
And she struggled her whole life with depression. She said, I have a 30-something-year-old demon in me. It's been with me. She didn't get help.
I had a really good friend several years ago, Mary Lou. She, I knew she was struggling mentally, and she called me and Christy Druin the day she was going to do it.
Wow.
And we couldn't get there fast enough. Yeah. She pulled the trigger behind the dumpster of her business right when we pulled up. The fire department got there and it was too late. And I'll never forget that last conversation that I had with her. And me and Christy were the last conversation she had. And I could tell she was going to do something to herself. And, I think about that every now and then. But she was such a golden soul. But her mind was so deep into her grief that she just couldn't get it out of her head. And it's just so crazy that you can get so down. But once you get to that point, it's so hard to get out.
That's why First Hour exists. We want to be that space.
Yeah.
Grief creates, why it matters is because grief creates this pocket of isolation.
Yeah.
And even when my mom passed, even having support, 2 weeks after, I was having nightmares and awful dreams, and no one understood. And I was telling them things like you're saying, like they think I'm crazy,
Right.
but I'm really experiencing this really dark side of life post this grief and loss. It's so devastating. And that's why we exist. We fill in those gaps where everyone has come to support you and rescue you, and then that fades. Right? Naturally, not on purpose. I don't think our loved ones or our friends do that on purpose, but life just gets back to normal for everyone, but not you.
Yeah.
And that's why we're here.
Well, mainly with funerals, especially, but not with Mary Lou's. It was kind of tough, but everybody's around for the funeral, for the visitations, and you're with all kinds of people.
When
so
you're busy, you're making plans, and you're doing, getting all your, for me, I was getting all my things in order. My dad was elderly. I still had to, I had to take care of stuff. And then, probably.
But all of a sudden, everybody's gone.
Yeah. We talk a lot in our group that, the first year, you're in like this fog, right? And it seems like you're right. Everyone is there in that first year. Everybody remembers the first.
Let's go to the first birthday.
The first birthday. But that second year, that's awful.
All the first. You go through all the first.
Yep.
I remember the day Mom died, I ran to the bank, and my brother-in-law at the time called me like 40 times. I've always got my phone on me, and it took longer in the bank. And when I knew what happened. She died when I was gone. But I walked outside and I smoked like a pack of cigarettes. I don't even smoke.
Yeah.
I don't even know why I did it. But I was out there with my dad, and I was like, I got to do something. And he looked at me, and I'm grabbing his pack of cigarettes. But you're so mentally out of it, you just don't know how to handle it.
No, you don't. You don't.
And grief manifests so differently in people. My arms just physically ached. Like it felt like I had been punched, and it's because my arms were empty. But you had nightmares.
You want your bareback? I'm holding on.
Yeah. Now that you're talking about that.
I enjoy holding. I like babies. I love babies.
You're right. You're right, Lindsay. Yeah. Grief shows up differently for everyone.
It shows up so differently. Yeah. And to your point, that's why First Hour is so important, is because we can say, I hear what you're saying, and I've experienced something similar. One of my biggest pet peeves in life is when people would look at me and say, I know exactly what you're going through. No, you don't.
No. But, because they don't know what to say.
Yeah.
But for some reason, like the women, my family and my group, they can say it. And I'm like, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Because there's similar law.
Yeah. After things happen, people just don't know what to say. No, a lot of things with
I think the worst one is they're in a better place. I'm like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
The things
don't. Or I used to get really upset at my mom's funeral. I had several people say to me, you're going to get over this. And I'm like, am I? I don't know. I said, I hope, because I have God in my life and a relationship with him, I hope that my journey toward healing is different and that I carry it different. But I think I'll carry it with me.
Well, it's interesting you pointed out God, and I think it was Mary Lou's funeral. I got really aggravated because the pastor stood up there and basically insinuated that she may not be in heaven because she committed suicide. And I'm pretty sure it was her funeral. I had everything I could do to not stand up and yell at that man in the middle of Mary Lou's funeral.
Right.
I'm pretty sure it was her funeral. And people that are watching probably would remember, but I was livid. He had no right to stand up there and say that about her.
No. Gosh.
Grief brings out the worst in people.
Yes, it does.
The things that I have heard, you cannot be angry at God. God needed another angel. I don't know how you're surviving this.
That's some more dumb comments that people make. Yeah.
I wasn't given a choice.
Yeah.
I didn't choose this. I have to survive.
Yeah.
This isn't surviving. This is just.
You've brought it up, and obviously you've got faith. Where are you at on that?
So
I struggle with it, honestly. So
I do. I struggle. Yeah. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things about First Hour is I struggle every day. I don't know where I sit, and yet I am still very much loved and accepted at this organization.
Yeah.
I was very angry at religion.
Yeah, I am.
Very
I still
angry.
am.
How, and it of course didn't. The day we came home from the hospital, school had let out. So we're seeing all these beautiful kids walking. Their backpacks are too big for them. And I'm ugly. So, like, it's probably a good thing that the windows were tinted and these kids couldn't see me because I'm sure I looked like a monster. But the nightly news came on and a woman had dumped her baby in a dumpster behind a business here in Louisville. And I was like, but these people can be parents, but I can't. Mm-hmm. I was so mad. And I think that's just part of my journey. I think it's okay to be mad. Yeah. We all hear the 7 stages of grief, right? And one of them is anger. I hate the stages of grief. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I've never accepted Brian's death. Mm-mm. And I won't.
No. It's so messy. Can I ask, and you do not have to answer it, but how did you come home to a nursery and no baby? Like, that is one thing that when I remember going to the hospital and I was like, if I do not leave with a baby, like, I can't go home. There's no way. I don't know how you did that.
So my mom and my in-laws said, we can go right now. We can take everything out and you would never know. So we were 100% ready because his C-section was scheduled. Mm-hmm. So I had the breast pump parts sitting by the dishwasher. I had the bassinet in the living room.
Excited to use it all.
Excited. I had my car seat in the car. Mm-hmm. What they did, I did not with them. I worked so hard on that nursery. Do not tear it down.
Right? Yeah.
So they took everything out from the actual home, the kitchen, the living room, the car seat, and they put it in his room and they shut the door. And that door stayed shut until we found out we were pregnant with Bryson. So in our home, we knew that we had to use that room for Bryson's nursery. Because it was COVID, I would do phone telehealth calls with my therapist, and she would, Lindsay, why don't you go open the door? And I'm like, I don't need to. I could only go into the nursery if I physically had to do something. I needed, baby wipes are great for taking off makeup. So I would grab some baby wipes, but then I would shut the door because it was no longer perfect. Everything was in the middle of the room that had been, taken outside of our home. And so it felt in disarray. It was really uncomfortable to be in there. So it wasn't until I was 20 weeks pregnant with Bryson that we had opened the door. And we're able to spend time in there.
Yeah.
And then completely flipped the nursery from golf to outdoor mountain adventure. But there's still little snippets of Bryant in there. Bryant Bear sits in Bryson's room now. There's a bee on his wall that was Bryant's. So Bryant's all over our house. I mean, he physically sits on our mantle. I decorate the mantle for every holiday. So right now he's decorated for Easter. That's one thing that I, in this community, want to help others is you don't have to walk in isolation. You don't have to hide your baby. Let's say their name. Let's honor them. Let's celebrate them. And I will ask you a question. Tell me about your baby.
Yeah.
What they look. Do you have a picture? Do you want to share your picture with me? What was their name? How did you pick their name?
Yeah.
Talk about
Do they openly share that with you?
Yeah. At the walk last year, I met a lot of women that openly shared, and they were hungry to share, very hungry. And once I got one in particular shared multiple losses that she had and needed support. So
yeah.
I think the service y'all provide gives people an outlet to finally get stuff off their chest.
Yeah.
Because like you said, people say they know what you're dealing with, but they don't unless they've dealt with it.
Yeah. And so that's what we try to do at First Hour. If someone calls in and says they have a loss that's infant miscarriage, we tell them about the group, but then we try to pair. It almost works out perfectly where we are able to pair someone with the same loss. So like I said earlier, if mine was suicide and they'll say, hey, Michelle, we had a client that wants services. Can you see them for suicide loss? Or we have mentors that have lost children or dealt with miscarriage or IVF problems. And so we'll pair them with that mentor. So they are with someone who more is able to understand of what they've been through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess at this point, how long has it been around? First, when did Lisa start?
2018.
So 7 years. So you probably have mentors for just about every
we do.
loss that you can think of.
Right. So our groups really reflect that as well. So we have 6 groups, 2 locations. We are located off Hurstbourne Lane at Linn Station Road. And then we're also in the south end of St. Andrew's Church Road at the Old Christian Academy building, there by Southeast Christian Southwest Campus. We do a loss due to addiction and substance use. We have that group. We have a men's general grief group that we just started this year. We saw the need for that. One of our mentors.
What's that cover, men's general?
Just men come that have grief stories, and they sit around. We call it men's coffee hour.
How many attend that?
We've had 2. The first one, we had 7 men, I think, show up for the first. So this is our second one was just here.
We're kind of a pain in the ass.
I know, right?
We don't like to admit. Honestly, I'm a pretty sensitive guy, so I would probably go.
So Lisa always likes to say that, we all know that men and women grieve differently, but men are like waffles and will compartmentalize their grief, where women are like spaghetti noodles and our grief will touch everything, every facet of our life.
Yeah. And then we have the suicide group that meets in the fall for a 7-week workshop. Then we have Lindsay's group, the infant and miscarriage. We have a child loss group that Lisa leads. And then we have spouse loss as well. So
and then a general,
and then general grief. So out of the 6, so it covers everything.
Yeah.
And I know our spouse loss. She's had, like most of our mentors, multiple losses. So she has suicide loss. She has child loss. She has parent loss. She has spouse loss. You know.
And then something really exciting too with First Hour is we are now in JCPS and with the Hope Wave. And so they are going into different schools and meeting kids who are experiencing sudden loss as well.
Yes. It's a 10-week program. We have an MOA with JCPS.
That you even have to do that,
Isn't
but
it?
I can't imagine the grief. Kids don't know how to channel it at all.
Oh my gosh. The stories that I've read preparing for a meeting with someone in the community, I had to stop. I couldn't hold back my tears. We just give like a one blip story in our notes. And it could be just like one sentence. And I'm reading these one sentences and it's devastating. Parents' suicide or children that have lost their friends, at the age of 9 and 10 years old, and they saw them murdered. These are who we're setting with these children, or they're bouncing home to home because they've lost both their parents and they're living with an aunt or uncle who has substance abuse. It's horrifying.
I'd like to be a fly on the wall when y'all have that, because I'm very interested in the trauma that kids deal with.
Yes. It's a 10-week program. And in that 10 weeks, that group just bonds. And the mentors, even now in this semester, we're serving around 100 kids now in 14 schools this semester.
At the school?
At the school. Yep.
Is there a worry that other kids might see them going into something and make fun of them? I mean, kid bullying is horrible.
Honestly, there was this group of children. So in the high school, they're separated by gender, right? Male and female, because, high schoolers, how they are. So we didn't want them to be distracted by the opposite sex being in the room. So in one group, in this high school group, all of the participants were put in there because they were fighting. And they knew that they had home lives that were struggling, right? And some type of grief. And so in that room, those girls bonded. They didn't have a relationship before that. And so last year at Thanksgiving, they ended up having a Friendsgiving party.
And they were fighting before?
They were fighting before.
Isn't it crazy? If you can sit down and have a conversation with somebody, typically violence goes away.
Yeah.
because you can look somebody in the eye and understand a little bit more about them.
You say me too.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't know you were struggling with that.
Yeah.
Is that why you're angry?
Yeah.
You know?
That's great.
Yeah.
I always tell my kids when they're fighting on town together, make them walk down the street together.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing, you know.
I make mine hug each other.
4 or 5 of them are fighting. You put them in a room and let them figure out why they don't like each other.
What is it? The hug shirt? Like you get like a 5XL shirt.
Yeah, make them all wear the same shirt.
Same shirt.
Yeah. Yeah. Make them sit next to each other. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So the walk coming up. Oh, wait a minute. Before we get started, you had mentioned something about a cuddle cot. What is that?
Yeah. So before we got started, we had talked about there is some legislation happening in Louisiana right now where hospitals are going to be required to offer cuddle cots to families who had either had babies born sleeping, so stillbirth, or in my case where the baby was passed away at the hospital. And so a cuddle cot is a bassinet that has a cooling system within it. And that cuddle cot can come into the room at mother, baby, or labor and delivery. And the baby will lay in this cot. And what it does is it slows down the natural progression of death. And so that families can spend more time together. Because I guarantee you, ask any lost family, if I could turn back the hands of time, or if I could whip up a magic spell, what would I give you? It's more time.
So all these hospitals, they have 10 or 12 of those on every floor to handle all the babies?
Oh, yeah, of course. And
we're
not. No.
There's none. And they don't provide them.
And we're not hit with our medical bills for our lost babies. And we don't have to pay anything, you know? Yeah. No, of course these cuddle
So they don't provide them. So Louisiana's trying to force hospitals to do the right thing, but nobody else is doing it.
So that's where I want
to. There's not one in any Louisville hospital.
So I can't say that there's not one.
Okay, because I'm like, goodness gracious.
They're becoming more popular, but they're out of donation. Hospitals are not purchasing them.
Well, the one thing I was going to say, you mentioned something about people putting babies in dumpsters.
I was going to say
we've paid for what?
How many boxes?
Yeah, for firehouses.
3 or 4 baby
pursuing with Larry and the Leslie and Ryan Prather Foundation.
Yes, we love them so much.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to Terry and see if maybe something we can look into with some cuddle
and we have something exciting
and we'll
that we're
name them
doing.
Lindsay's boxes.
No, name it Bryant.
or Bryant.
Yeah.
We're going to do some Bryant boxes. How about that?
But we have something so neat that I'll share for you, Lindsay, because you're upset. But we're doing.
I'm not upset.
But you can't speak, so I'll speak for you. Something to say what Lindsay has fought for is bringing more awareness to the OB floors, right? And to these floors that our babies are being delivered, or OB offices where women are being told they've lost their baby at ultrasound or something. So she has come up with this beautiful idea that now we've got approval for 2 local hospitals to have. It's called the Gentle Care Cart. Lindsay, do you want to share about that?
So I cannot take all credit. So in my last group, it was a Mother's Day, and we were trying to figure out ways to honor our babies for Mother's Day. One, how can we also be recognized as moms? And so we wanted to create a book cart. There's so many incredible books out there, not just like self-help books, but even books for kids on grief, loss. Like I said, my mommy was pregnant and now she's not. And so
that's an actual book?
There's books like that. Yeah.
There's books like that. Yeah.
The Invisible String is a really, really good one. It talks about how just in loss in general, we're still connected to people. We still have that love and that connection, and we'll always have it. And so we wanted to create a cart that had just various resources on it, things that you could take home with you. And so, we got 2 approvals for the hospital, and I have an Amazon wish list, and to see the amount of love that people are just donating.
Yeah, so it's a free cart.
It's a free
and
cart.
It gets willed into the hospital that says yes. So right now, I think I can say this.
I was going to say, I feel like we should give them a shout out since they're agreeing to it.
Baptist Hospital East is one. And then the other one we got approval today was at U of L Health. So we have to coordinate that. But this cart, it's a book cart, and we have pictures of it. Maybe we can link to the show. But the cart on it will have like stuffed animals and receiving blankets and tissues and journals and books for children and women in their loss. It'll have our information on it. Little mementos to take home that they can will into these families at the time after their loss of their child. They can take something home with them.
I just feel like, when you were so deep in grief, there's so much there. There's so much information. And so if we can just provide one thing, you may not smile, and that's okay. But afterwards, if you look at that book and you're like, oh, they gave that to me, or that provided just a little bit of comfort. Right. If you've ever stayed in a hospital, you know that the tissues are terrible.
They're horrible.
They're horrible. And the air is so dry, your lips get chapped.
Yeah, there's
chapstick on there. There's Kleenexes on there. Yeah. Take what you need. Yeah.
Well, I think we need to talk about this offline because you really hit me. And I think we're going to try and help figure this out. I don't know if you know, we're dealing with some legislation changes that could change our charitable gaming machine. So I always throw that out there as a caveat that if this BS changes and we lose some of our games, we won't be able to help you. But if things continue the way they are, let's put some Bryant baby boxes in some places. I think that'd be cool. And then get your carts up and running. So let's figure out if Baptist is willing to do that. Let's make that connection.
They said yes. We fund it all. It's a free gift to them.
You've got two friends with me and Kellye now at this point. So let's figure that out.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
So
appreciate you.
You asked how I get up every day. And this is it.
Yeah.
I have the honor of being Bryson's mommy and watching him grow and parent him every day. But to have the opportunity to meet you and sit here and you hold Bryant Bear and you can see a picture of it. I have this beautiful opportunity to parent him in this way and to create his legacy.
Yeah.
And that's to help other families.
Yeah. Well, let's make it happen. Let's do it. You got some homework to figure out where we can get some. We're going to call him we're going to call him Bryant baby cots, and then Bryant wheel carts. But let's talk about that offline and do the homework. Figure out what we need, and we'll make it happen. But in the meantime, what?
You're like homework. I'm like, okay.
She's really good at homework.
I'm serious.
She's amazing.
And again, if the legislation doesn't cut our legs out from under us, we're going to put as many of these in the hospitals that they'll let us. I think it's the right thing to do. Yeah. So the walk coming up, and it's in October. How many people show up for that?
So that's kind of a bitter.
I think Kellye just said she's doing it.
I think she said it's just a 5K though, right? I can handle.
No, you said that. And it's not a 5K. So our walk is different. It's not a race. It's a very slow pace walk. And the reason for that is because we have signs all along the walking path that has our baby's names on it. Mm-hmm. So that way you can walk along that path. You can see your baby's name. My husband and I always like to use walks as an opportunity to talk about Bryant. What do we think he would look like right now? How tall? I mean, he was a big guy.
There's probably software that would do that for you. Kind of do a progression of what be neat.
Yeah.
And we've done it.
Okay. I just figured there was. I didn't know if there really was one.
Yeah. But I also like to just kind of, what would he be into? Would he be into sports? Would he? So we use that time to, I call it like fantasize. So it's slow moving. It's a mile walk. It's 80. I always like to say it's ADA compliant because I want everyone to know that you can come. Yeah. Don't let the fear of like a hike scare you.
Yeah.
So we'll have vendors there who have either services or items that are for lost families. Mm-hmm. I always try to have a candle vendor there because on October 15th is the International Wave of Light. And so what that is at 7 p.m. where you're at, no matter where you're at in the world, you light a candle for your lost babies and other lost babies. So I always like to have a candle vendor there so that way someone can purchase a candle in preparation of that. We'll have food trucks there.
Any good ones?
You know of any?
Yeah, we're still looking.
We actually had one come in the other day.
Just pigging out?
Yeah, just pigging out. They raise money. It's Alpha Ministries, and they raise money, but they have a food truck. Maybe we can connect you with him.
Yeah, we would love that.
Yeah.
The money they raise off just pigging out goes towards their cause. What was it they were doing?
Like recovery.
Okay.
Yeah, we would love that because
great
we
partnership.
could share about what we do.
Yeah, we'll
for
try and
our
connect
group
you.
for that.
Yeah, if they
Yeah.
lost anybody. And
They can send them our way.
So your biggest expense with First Hour Grief, is it scholarship money to help people who can't afford the grief counseling?
Well, like we were talking offline, we always need money so that we can provide this service for free or little cost.
That's what I was
right.
getting at, yeah.
So we talk about how operations is like.
Well,
our
you have to have a
biggest
place
cost.
to
We
have these people go.
You have to have
lights on. You have to have running water.
Yeah. We have 3 paid staff members. So, we always talk about that, but the heart of what we do is we need support so that we can keep the door open to bring them in. So the first session's always free.
Yeah.
And then we see clients 60 to 90 minutes. And those sessions are $75 after that, which now the going rate for counseling is $150. So we're $75, and we don't turn anyone away. We have people that we partner with, like Prather, who says, hey, we'll give you this much money a month, and it goes to people we send, or you get to pick 2 or 3 people a month that say, hey, I just lost my spouse, and that was the breadwinner, and I've been at home with my children. We're in jeopardy of losing our home, but we need care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yes.
Well, we sponsored it last year, and I told Lisa we'd sponsor it this year. But the only issue I have is the presenting sponsor. There's not a $10,000 one.
We can make one.
Is that okay if we do that?
Yes, of course. We would love that.
Yeah, we told her we would sponsor this year, so we previously committed to doing that.
Yeah.
So we'll do
We would
that.
love it.
I don't know if Mary's here today.
You're setting the bar. You're setting the bar high.
I know.
Next year.
Yeah, but I need you to do the homework on these boxes and what we can do with these carts, and let's try and make that happen. It's so incredible.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. I think that's right.
We asked how many people we're anticipating. Probably close to 1,000 this year.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So I can't speak. You could have worn a girl.
I know, right?
I wore the wrong mascara and everything.
And can I just say something huge too? Lindsay got them to change the color of the bridge this year for the whole weekend of our walk to pink and blue.
That's
as
amazing.
well, because it's going to be down at the Big Four.
You should be in sales and marketing.
I know.
Yes, or development.
Yeah.
No, I'm the woohoo of the group. So
Yeah.
I get so excited about little woohoo.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So it's very bittersweet. We had talked that they're looking for cures for various different disease, breast cancer being a big one.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no cure for us. And so the bittersweet thing about it is every year that we have done the walk, our numbers have grown. So our first year was 200, last year was 500, and we quickly grew out of where we were, which was at Broad Run Park. I cannot say enough beautiful things about that park.
Yes.
A lot of us have a connection to it. That's where I did my maternity photos with Bryant. That's where a lot of my women have had their first angel birthdays. One in particular bought biodegradable leaves, and they wrote happy birthday and then sent them down the creek.
Oh, that's cool.
And so this year we are so excited to be at the Brown Foreman Amphitheater at the waterfront. I just think it's going to be more, I don't want to say suitable, but bigger, so that we can help more people.
Yeah.
And we can offer more.
Yeah, for sure. It's pretty incredible. Yeah, it's, One thing I was going to ask, and you might not even know this question, is that when somebody commits suicide, do they ever do autopsies on like the brain to see if there's some sort of, is there a switch somewhere that maybe they figured out that they might be able to adjust when people are really in their darkest time? I mean,
I don't know.
Obviously, that's going to be years of trying to figure out, but I just wonder.
Let's look into it. We'll do our homework.
Yeah, absolutely. See if we find a neurosurgeon to figure that out.
Well,
I watch Grey's Anatomy all the time, so doctors McSteamy or whatever. McDreamy, yeah, might be able to figure it out.
I don't know. It's funny that you say that, Mike, because on March 19th, we have an event every year called Next. And it's like, what do we do next when life has fallen apart? What do we do with this? And this year it's next, what happens when life falls apart? The mind can heal. And the speaker that's coming is Dr. Caroline Leaf, and she is a psychoneurobiologist who has world-renowned studied the brain and the effects from trauma responses and emotional overwhelm, that it can heal from that. So she's coming to that event as our speaker.
Wow.
Amazing. On May 19th. May 19th, 11:30 to 1. It's a lunch. It's a luncheon.
Where's that going to be at?
It's at the Botanical Gardens.
Yeah, he just pulled it up on the website. We should have taken people to your website for
that would be cool to listen to.
So I mean, that's geared toward anybody walking in grief, anyone that wants to heal and understand how their body is reacting to that, and how to take personal growth. And then also, I'm like, anybody who's a first responder in healthcare, social workers, psychologists, working with our community.
I met a fireman once, and I'm trying to remember how the conversation started, but after they walked away, a friend said, yeah, they're really struggling. I'm like, what? And they said, because what they see is traumatizing. And I think they're forgotten quite often. So y'all offer anything for...
We do. It's called a GRIP program, actually. Okay. So we do go in and speak with first responders about grief and their own health. Yes, and Lisa does a really great job at that.
I bet she does.
Well, if you're struggling in any grief, it sounds like you guys cover it all.
We cover it all.
We try. We absolutely do. Yeah.
And if not, we'll figure out a way.
So to sign up for the walk, it's angelwalk.org. What's First Hour Grief Recovery's website?
It's www.firsthourgrief.org.
Okay.
Yes.
And check that out.
Yeah, and my email is should be on that flyer.
Lindsay at First Hour Grief.
So LINDSAY. Please reach out to me. This is my passion project.
I can tell.
Yeah.
Both of you, really. But
I have this is not my 9 to 5. I have a 9 to 5. And this is my volunteer. This is my passion project. So.
Yeah. I had a 9 to 5 until last year, and they decided I didn't need to be there anymore. So
you just come on. I know you've been
I still work 1 day a week as a nurse.
31 years, and they just decided, we don't need you anymore. So, but that's
well, we're glad that the community has more of you then.
Yeah.
We couldn't do this community. Would be so lost without you.
Well, thank you.
And
I appreciate that. Yeah. Well, check it out. Angelwalk.org. Get signed up. Does it cost anything?
Free.
It's free. Now, I will say we will have T-shirts for sale, and we'll have those signs.
Or donations. Nothing in life is free, folks. Yes. So make a donation to this amazing organization. You can go to the website, make a donation, but come out, bring your checkbook, bring your credit cards, bring whatever, and let's just...
People have checkbooks anymore?
I still do.
Do you know how to write a check?
No.
And I know the answer to that question.
I don't even have a check. I don't even know where to get one.
We're going to have raffle baskets there as well, and I'm so excited about it. We had mentioned and touched on Dad's guilt, or not guilt, Dad's grief. I'm working on a raffle basket right now specifically for our dads. And I just got word that there's a organization out there. It's called the Sad Dads Club. And they have merchandise, and it's Worst Guys Club. Worst Guys Best Club.
Yes.
But they have their own merchandise. And so they're going to send us some merch to raffle off.
What kind of things would they have what's their mission? Do you have any? I'm just curious.
Yeah. So they have online support groups for dads.
Sad dads.
Yeah, for sad dads. That's right.
You said Worst Dads Club. I'm thinking maybe Bad Dads or something.
I don't remember their slogan.
That's okay. I was just
they're
curious.
so cool. Yeah.
And the Sad Dads Club is there.
Yeah. But I'm really, really excited that they are going to send some stuff to raffle off.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Check it out. angelwalk.org. Follow First Hour Grief Recovery on
all social media.
All social media, and we'll share it out and send invites to people so they're aware of it. But it's October 10th. So it's
Waterfront Park, Brown Foreman Amphitheater.
Looks like it starts at 9, but the walk begins at 10. Is that correct?
That's
okay.
correct.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for coming.
Thank you all.
Enjoy talking to you.
Awesome.
We'll get married to get y'all a check. I think we've done. Yeah, I know we sponsored last year. Again, I told Lisa we would do it, just didn't know what capacity, but y'all just ripped our heart out. I'm just sitting here in a good way.
I know, right?
This thing's heavy, by the way.
He's a big boy. I'm telling you.
Yeah, my son Graham was heavy when he was little. It kind of reminds me of him.
Yeah.
So. Well, thanks for coming in. We enjoyed talking.
Thanks for having us so much.
See ya.
Absolutely. See you all.